Live now on the Santa Monica track.
Good morning.
We're a little
Good
bit,
afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching.
a little bit of a later start than normal. Smelodies usually the first one to join.
Did he join?
Yeah, he's on board.
OG?
OG, yeah.
Yeah, he is an OG.
We have Ring Magazine editor-in-chief, Dougie Fisher, at Dougie Fisher.
What's up?
Coach Dave with Eloy Perez.
Oh yeah, no one ever heard of him.
You rock his blue shirt
He was very
consistently.
Yeah.
We got a little bit late start today, Doug, because we were all watching the Pacquiao fight last night.
Yes, we were. That was a worthy pay-per-view.
That was, yeah,
People
it was
got their
nice.
money's worth with that one.
The Ugas fight was a little bit of a speed bump.
That was hard to get through.
That's when we all took a pizza break.
Yeah.
And salads, but
Exactly. You eat.
Caleb Plant had a title defense last night.
That was on Fox.
Yeah, I was surprised. So weren't you
That
saying,
was an exhibition.
Doug? You were saying how much respect the Nevada Commission must have for Triple G's dominance if they approved that fight and not
Right.
the
They did
Munguia
not
fight.
approve Jaime Munguia for Gennady Golovkin.
Yeah.
So you know Golovkin must be a monster. If Ring Magazine's Prospect of the Year, who was 28-0
With 25
knockouts,
Yeah.
and is a big giant. No, he doesn't get to fight Triple G in Nevada. But Mike Lee gets the challenge for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship
Plant,
of the world
yeah.
against a really good fighter,
So-
a real good boxer in Caleb Plant. That was an exhibition.
So that says a lot for their respect for his punching power, his
Yeah.
dominance, and everything. But it was a good fight for Caleb Plant. He had a title
Quite
defense.
showcase, yeah.
Yeah, and and Mike Lee stepped up and took the.
Yeah, and by
took
the
the
way,
fight.
no disrespect to Mike Lee. I mean, it
Yeah.
takes a lot of guts to get in there.
He got the title shot, and
He
you
did.
know,
He went for it. I mean, it was offered. It was an opportunity.
Yeah.
He went for it, and he's a terrific human being, an individual. He's just not a contender.
So who else did we have on the broadcast? Who was the first fight? I forgot the order. So that was Mike. That was on Fox.
I missed
Caleb
the
Plant.
Lewis fight.
Like Lewis Larry had he
Yeah.
had an I saw that
He's a
he had
top bantamweight.
he had an impressive body shot knockout with a
Against
guy
Juan Carlos Payano.
against Payano, and Payano was on the ground for quite a while
He was in agony.
from that body shot. Yeah,
I've
so
just seen photos of that.
that was a good performance by Neri.
Yeah,
and
Neri's
then,
he's on a knockout streak. He's got his controversy because he won the bantamweight title from the Japanese guy.
And then he didn't make the weight or
Yamanaka.
something, right?
Well, yeah, he got banned in Japan. Yeah, so he tested positive for a banned substance after he won the title,
Right.
and then they had a rematch, and he came in really heavy. Both fights, he annihilated poor Yamanaka. Yamanaka says, "Farewell to boxing. It's not fair."
Right.
And
the
the
Japanese commission
boxing commission was like, "Neri,
pretty much
don't
banned him.
ever come to this
Banned
island
him for
again."
life. Yeah, that's right.
I don't blame him.
So you have the new Ring Magazine T-shirts.
Oh my
Those
God!
are
I'm so glad you mentioned that.
those
Now,
are
you got an
available
awesome
now?
t-shirt. But this,
That's,
I've been waiting for this a long time.
Ring
Now,
Magazine by Super Rare,
I
right?
should have a Manny Pacquiao T-shirt because he kicked ass.
You wore that last-
night.
you
I
wore that
it
last
night.
week.
There you go. In
Last week,
respect,
as a
remember?
respect for Manny.
Respecto?
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. But get a look at this. This is one of three
So you got three different
from
versions.
Super Rare. See, it's a Super Rare and Ring Magazine joint venture.
Collaboration, right?
Collaboration, Super Rare. There's three covers from the 70s, the fabulous 70s, when Muhammad Ali became, like, he just
So
transcended
that's
sports altogether.
December
in that
1972
decade. Yeah.
cover.
Yeah, he
Those-
rose above all the controversy and the
Those are going to be popular.
setbacks.
Anything with Ali on it is popular, but a
And this
throwback,
is the first boxer I was really aware of.
throwback
you know? Yeah, look
to
at
the
that.
ring. Yeah,
so this
that's
is from
nice.
1972, and there's a cover from 1970, and there's a cover from 1976.
76,
Which I
okay.
think happened before Ali had
The
the
Thriller.
world's first mixed martial arts bout,
Oh.
which was against the pro wrestler Antonio Inoki.
Inoki, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, some crazy stuff. Man. Yeah, go to the Super Rare website and check this out.
Can you get it on Ring TV also?
Not yet, but
You should have a link.
We're making some adjustments.
Okay.
We're kind of revamping the Ring Shop, the online
Oh,
Ring
got it.
Shop.
Okay.
And we'll have these things available once we get that finished
Great.
with.
And you got the Sam Garcia Boxing MTV Awards.
Yeah, 1981, 1982 era MTV icon.
We have a rest in peace Sweet Pea tweet or text.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we got to acknowledge.
What a bummer losing
Yeah.
him last week. That
Pernell
was-
Whitaker got hit by a car in Florida, right?
Yeah, dead at 55. He's gone too soon. That's an untimely death. It's really sad.
That's coach's age, 55, retirement age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that used to be official senior citizen status. Was 55,
That's right. It was 55. It was
you
retirement
get
age.
You get discount
Yeah,
on the movies.
like the AAA
and,
discount.
And on the bus, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe you ride the bus for a quarter or something. Yeah. But I think they've moved it up.
And then the early cafeteria meal.
There you go.
You got 20% off.
Yeah, maybe at Denny's or Coco's or whatever,
yeah, right.
you still have the 55 menu.
I think someone corrected me. So it says it was in Virginia Beach.
Yes.
And he was hit riding a bike. Is that? I didn't hear that part.
I heard he was
walking.
pedestrian, yeah.
But maybe it was a bike.
The details
Could be.
are very sketchy. All
Yeah,
we know is
we
that
haven't-
he was hit by a car and he died on the spot.
Yeah.
And it's really tragic.
It's unfortunate. Yeah.
And brings back a lot of memories of his heyday, which I know you're really familiar with because it kind of coincided with the same time of Kevin Kelly.
Yeah. Kevin Kelly and Buddy McGirt.
Buddy McGirt. Yeah.
Buddy was, we got to touch on Doddershoff. Buddy stopped that fight when Doddershoff wanted to keep fighting, and luckily he did stop the fight.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers to Max
Doddershoff,
and his family,
Yep.
and everybody with Agus Klimas Boxing
Yeah.
and Top Rank. It was real. That was sad.
It's
That was
unfortunate when that happens.
yeah.
But it seemed like they got him to the hospital pretty quick from the reports that I heard.
Yeah.
And you say he's unstable.
He was hemorrhaging, and they did the operation.
But you
They
say
got
he's in
his
stable
wife
condition
is
now?
outside now. Yeah, that's the last I've read is that he was in stable condition. So hopefully he can make. I mean, his boxing career is over, but hopefully he can make a full recovery
Yeah.
and lead a normal life.
Yeah, unfortunately we had that. Was it recently with Adonis?
Yes, Adonis Stevenson.
And we know the story with Magomed. But
Yeah.
hopefully everything with Doddershoff, like you said, turns out well.
It's a tough sport, but football is more dangerous.
For
More
concussions
guys
and
walk.
probably long-term effects, all those, yeah,
And more, and the volume.
the
There's
volume
so many
of hits,
football players
yeah,
walking around, they can't walk,
right.
they can't think,
Yeah.
they don't know where they are.
Yeah, they suffer from depression and stuff.
Yeah.
Then they all lost their money after a few years.
Stuff, yeah.
Here's a question, Doug. Oh, Fight Ghost is watching. Fight Ghost actually took
Fight Ghost.
Keith Thurman.
We were close.
You took Keith Thurman
Fight
too.
Ghost, I did. I did.
Wait, so he's alive?
Yeah,
JP
yeah.
survived it?
JP, he texted in. Yeah, but we have a
Yeah.
question for you, Doug.
What's up, JP?
We have a question that
Fire
says,
away.
"Is it fair to say Pacquiao's legacy is greater than Mayweather's, but Mayweather is a superior boxer?"
Yes, that seems accurate.
that's
to me.
accurate.
I would say
That was a big win at 40 years old.
Well, let's put it this way. Let's put it in perspective. At age 40, Manny Pacquiao's fighting Keith Thurman. One-time Thurman, 29-0, 30 years old, the most accomplished welterweight out there. At age 40, Floyd Mayweather is fighting a 19-year-old Japanese junior featherweight. It's like
So
you got to dare to be great.
the
you know what I'm
longevity.
saying? Now, head-to-head, when they fought in 2015,
Yeah.
Mayweather was a superior boxer. You caught him with the, just basic boxing. But when you look at their resume, Floyd's got a Hall of Fame resume. But Manny's got that round robin with three Mexican greats in Marco Antonio Barrera, Juan Manuel Marquez, and Eric Morales. And he fought those guys. They may not have been at their peaks, but they were still near enough to their primes where they were highly rated at the time, and even pound for pound. And that to me. And he wasn't. And here's the great thing: he wasn't winless in that series.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a draw with Marquez and a loss to Marquez by knockout, and he had a loss to Eric Morales. But the fact that he would go from Marco Antonio Barrera to Juan Manuel Marquez, when actually Juan Manuel Marquez was at his best as a featherweight, at his prime weight, nobody was wanting to get in the ring with Marquez as a featherweight.
That's right.
Nobody. Prince Nassim Hamed did not want Marquez as a featherweight. Barrera didn't want Marquez as a featherweight. Morales didn't want Marquez as a featherweight. They all had opportunities to fight him. Hamed was supposed to fight him because Marquez was the WBO mandatory for like 2 years. Never happened. You know what? Pacquiao fought Marquez at featherweight, and
Manny
Marquez
fought all those
showed why
guys.
he was avoided.
Yeah.
He
And-
showed in that fight.
And for the legacy, is an 8-time,
and
eight
he kept
division.
fighting him over and over again. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? He had multiple
Because he
fights
was the
with
most
these-
competitive guy. Yeah.
So just that round robin at 126 and 130 pounds, that alone makes him special, along with the weight jumping. But
eight
then going to
divisions,
130, 135, and then, beating De La Hoya, which I don't give him a whole lot of credit for the De La Hoya fight because De La Hoya was near the end of his career.
But he was a lot bigger, though.
Weight. Yeah.
He was a lot. Yeah, he did drop down in weight.
But
Yeah.
Pacquiao was the betting underdog on that. And then he fights Ricky Hatton at 140.
Right.
Like, it's hard, And then
He knocked out Hatton before Floyd knocked him out.
Here's how you know Manny's a great fighter. Manny was the fighter of the decade for the 2000s, and he might be in the running for being fighter of the decade for the 2010s.
With this.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's like some Bernard Hopkins stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
with this.
And I think Bernard Hopkins is an all-time great.
I thought that was Manny's biggest victory.
Biggest, really? Nah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I see.
It's top 5 in my
for
opinion.
me. Way up there.
With all the odds against him, with the age and everything, and the size difference, I would agree with Coach. I would give that towards the top.
And the whole thing is that the betting odds should have been like 50-1 in favor
Of Keith.
Yeah.
And I saw, but I could see the whole time that Pacquiao and Freddie Rhodes had so much confidence, and they seemed so calm. And
Yeah.
The whole thing, I thought, I don't know.
When I
translate,
When I saw Thurman sleeping on the way to the arena in the car, that was a bad sign. And then he got knocked down in the first round, but he did come back.
Here's the thing:
Came back in the later rounds.
First round soundly, but I think he overcommitted. I think he started a little too fast, and I think Manny's always going to be dangerous in the first round. The early rounds, Manny's going to be
got that
dangerous.
power.
That knockdown was
right.
it wasn't a real knock. It was a knockdown,
but it enabled Manny to win that round, win a round that he was losing, but also assume control of the fight because it was going to take Thurman a round or two to readjust to that. But I give Thurman a lot of credit. I think it was a close fight because there was a round that Thurman was winning, and then Manny caught him like in the last 30 seconds or whatever. So he could have won that round, but he didn't. But he started to make adjustments by the middle rounds in like 7, 8, 9, you know what I mean? Or 6, 7, and 8, whatever. I thought he won those rounds clearly, and then it was probably the round 10 he got hit to the body. Was that round 10 or was that round 9? I think it was round 10. But he was coming on. He regained momentum.
He was going to take it over.
That's what I was thinking
win every
too.
round. But I tell you, the best part was Keith's interview after the fight.
Showed a lot of class.
That guy. That is any minute. He's
now. Compare that to Broner's post-fight interview. Broner, who beyond a shadow of a doubt, lost that fight. Didn't have a clue, right? And he can't accept it. He's cursing and he's saying, "I won that fight." He's mad at everybody, right? He's cursing at the crowd and Jim Gray and all that. Keith Thurman was actually competitive in that fight. Actually put hands on Pacquiao. Landed more on Pacquiao than probably anybody.
And was
in
a better
class. And it was actually a split decision. I don't think that was right. I think Glenn Feldman scored it by 1 point for Keith Thurman, and he doesn't latch on to that and say, yeah, I think I won the fight, or one of the judges thought I won, or whatever. No, he just accepted it with class.
Sam Garcia touched on something that you guys were talking about earlier, that Thurman was gambling with Broner. I guess Thursday night up there in the casino.
See, that's not a good sign.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
He shouldn't even be close to Broner.
Yeah, right. That's bad mojo.
That's the worst. But I thought
that's probably who Keith's going to fight next, though. That'll be the comeback fight.
That could, yeah.
Right?
No, that's
could be.
That's a PBC move. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. Hey, the PBC is doing really well.
And I hope that pay-per-view did well because the main event delivered.
They promoted it pretty well, and I have here's my trivia question for you, Doug. I heard this on ESPN, so I don't know if it's true, but this is what I heard on the broadcast today. So this win with Manny becoming a world champion, what rank is he in terms of oldest world champions now? Like, what number would he be in terms of age?
I can answer that.
For welterweight?
He's the oldest.
No, just in general.
The oldest
in
to
general.
ever win the welterweight.
Okay, but you're saying right now among current world
No,
champions?
no. Like Foreman won when he was 44, for example.
No, he was 45.
Or 45. So you
Yeah.
could say, okay, if he's the oldest, then what rank? How?
No, he's not the oldest. Bernard Hopkins.
Okay,
is.
so Hopkins.
Yeah.
So Hopkins would be number 1.
Yeah.
So where would Manny rank on that, being a world champion now at age 40?
World champion at age 40.
Any weight division.
In any weight division, I'd say he's 4 or 5.
He's 5. That's what I heard. 5. So I guess we can go down. So Bernard would be 1, right?
Bernard number
Is
1.
Foreman
George
2.
Foreman number 2. Who would be number 3? Who won some titles?
In their early 40s.
In their
But
early
anyway, so you got it right. So it's he's
That's
number
a good
5.
one. Yeah.
Number 5, 5th oldest world champion.
Wow.
You can put it that way.
Good.
Hey, plus
So
you know,
that's
the fight was really entertaining.
That's
Yeah.
the most important
I mean,
thing.
it was really good, and it was really close. I mean, take away that knockdown in the first round,
Yeah.
Thurman's fight or a draw. You know, it's like,
Right.
so it was really
Yeah.
close fight. But
I had it 7 rounds to 5. Did you have it 7 rounds to 5?
I had it
Bad
115, 112.
Yeah, that's 7 rounds to 5.
With a knockdown.
The
Yeah.
knockdown, yeah.
Yeah, that was good. So someone was asking about your. They must have tuned in later. They like your shirt. So that's
I like
the
it, yeah.
that's the super rare joint edition, right? With the Ring magazine. That's the Ring magazine cover, December
it's a
December
venture between
1972.
It's a venture between Super Rare, the Muhammad Ali family,
Yeah,
and Ring Magazine.
got it.
Yeah.
Are you going to show your hand, Tom?
No, not the hand. Well, we'll show my shirt.
Yeah, your shirt's awesome. I'll trade
you wanna-
you. Yeah.
So I got the I got the foreign boxing.
This I didn't know these existed, Tom.
Thanks to Sal Federico at MSG. These are the forum. Anyone that goes to a forum fight, we did the Superfly shows there. We did.
Been to so many.
Triple G had fought there.
Established
couple of
1967.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they made foreign boxing, and they got the MSG boxing. Shirt.
Yeah. Spin says
And
nice.
Who owns the farm?
MSG. owns
Yeah.
the forum.
They do.
And Irving Azoff runs the forum. He
Yeah.
runs all the concerts and everything.
And I started going there when it was owned by Dr. Jerry Buss, and
Yeah,
he had the
with
foreign
the-
boxing
And they
promotions.
had the Showtime Lakers there
Yes.
with the Magic.
I never went to any
Kareem.
of those games, but I went to the boxing.
Yeah.
John Beirudi.
And
Rudy was the matchmaker.
Samir
No,
says,
he was
"Hey
the
Doug, what's up,
publicist.
Samir?"
Yeah. Oh yeah, Samir tuned in too.
And
Samir.
Roger says, "Did Tom hurt his hand counting money? Laugh out loud." It's good. Hey, somebody asked
paper
Triple
cuts.
G versus Munguia in Las Vegas.
So I'm gonna.
So
I'm
hey,
gonna,
that's other news.
Wait,
Canelo moved off
All
of
right.
that,
well,
that
I'll tell you
September
that.
14 game.
I'm gonna give you the official
Okay.
announcement.
All right.
September 14th. Munguia Triple G.
So you think Bob Bennett?
I mean, that's
gonna
the
be
that's
in
the fight that
Dallas
makes the
and the
most
Nevada
sense.
Commission?
Gonna be in
But-
Texas.
Texas.
But how is so? How many times did Canelo now turn down a Triple G fight when they were supposed to fight?
Yeah, man, the bad blood is
This
real.
would be the second time, right?
At least.
Well, he was mandated by the WBC the first time,
Because in 2016.
and he was the first
Here's the thing
Mexican
about-
champion.
Here's the thing about Canelo. Don't tell him what to do.
Right.
Man, he gets.
Yeah, he
'cause
gets.
he got mad at the WBC, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he got
Like,
mad
what?
at
You're trying to
Mauricio.
mandate.
Took that personal.
Mandatory, really?
Mandatory.
Goodbye.
He did a Riddick Bowe.
He did a Riddick Bowe.
And
He
then
did.
dumped the
I was like,
WBC
where's
title
Bob
in the
Newman?
trash.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was 2016. Was
That was the
there
first
another
time.
point when he's like, no, there's no.
Well, no,
fighter?
I mean the collision course was now. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be with both signing with the zone. The
Yeah.
game plan was supposed to be
He doesn't want
September
he doesn't want anyone
14th,
telling
but
him to fight
yeah.
on a particular date.
In spite of all-
particular when, but in particular when it's the opponent is supposed to be Golovkin,
Right.
Because I think he's.
Seems to be
He doesn't
some
like Triple G.
some bad blood there. So
Yeah,
we'll see
feeling
what
is
happens.
mutual between those
We'll
two.
see what happens with Triple G's next date. But
Yeah.
since Canelo's not fighting on that date, it would make sense for him to fight on that date. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Yeah, now he's the franchise champion. Someone wrote in. So
Should Ring
Guess he
Magazine
was elevated.
get, have a franchise belt?
I don't know. You'll have to.
Silver? Should we get a silver belt? Gold?
Intercontinental.
Intercontinental?
So-
That's a nice ring to it.
So we got
International.
We got the open workout, the media training tomorrow for Sergey Boachuk, El Flaco. That's going to be at Ben Lira's South El Monte Recreation Center in South El Monte, 12:30. It's open to the public,
Yeah.
so you'll be there. Cynthia Conte will be there. I know Steve Kim said he's going to come.
Who's going to be there? The fighters that are going to work out there?
Sergey Boachuk and Adrian Corona.
Yeah. They're the big guys.
And then we'll maybe a couple of the other local fighters. The Hollywood Fight Nights next edition is going to be a week from today,
July 28th.
July 28th. Yeah.
Be there at B Square. There's
Yep.
going to be a lot of special guests there, including the First Lady of Boxing.
Yes, Cecilia Berkos is going to be the VIP guest. She'll be there, and then we'll announce some other celebrities as it gets closer. So July 28th, doors open at 3 o'clock at the Avalon Hollywood and Vine. Come on down, or watch the 360 Promotions stream on Facebook and YouTube. That's really become a popular series here locally. We've got a lot of compliments on it, and
Everybody wants on that card.
and everyone wants to see Boachuk. He's 14-0 with 14 knockouts. Now he's fighting Fernando Marin, 16-3. So we'll see if he can keep his knockout streak alive.
Yeah, but I like Boachuk. He gets better every time I see him, and he gets more confident with each fight. But it's like, I mean, he seems cocky, but I know he's put the work in, and I know he's a student of the game.
He's one of the few guys that can outrun Triple G up in Big Bear.
Yeah.
Because Triple G is a great runner.
Yeah.
And Boachuk's like a deer, like a gazelle up there.
He looks like a runner.
Yeah.
He's got a thinner frame.
No,
a lighter
and this will be a
frame.
10-round. This will be a scheduled 10-round fight.
Will this be his first 10?
First 10-round fight, yeah. Yeah, so all the fans that want to see Boachuk, want to see Doug Fisher in person, want to see Cynthia Conte, most importantly, in person.
Flash. Come on, Kevin.
Yeah, come out to the fight night. But the media training tomorrow, the open workout, it'll be at South El Monte Gym tomorrow at 12:30. So what else do we have? What else do we have coming up? We had someone mentioned Beterbiev versus Gavorstik,
That's
the
a
nail.
good fight.
That's a
That's
great
a tough
fight.
one to call, right?
Yeah, that's a good fight.
Good, entertaining fight on paper.
Yeah.
I like the nail in that matchup. I think he's the better technician.
We got someone from New Orleans that's
Easy.
watching. Yeah,
I
the
got
Big
family
Easy.
there.
That's where Regis Prograis is from.
That's
and,
another fight I can't call. Prograis versus Josh Taylor in that WBSS final. I can't pick a winner in that
that's a good fight.
That's a good fight. Interesting
Yeah, that's
matchup.
a good fight.
And the winner of that will be the Ring Magazine Junior Welterweight Champion of the world.
Samir.
Speaking of entertaining fights, a Thursday night fights that you called.
Oh, that co-feature?
The co-feature, one of the best fights of all
Wow,
time.
the dude, Melian, a two-time Olympian from Argentina, 5-0, fighting just some guy from Mexicali, TJ area with a 50-2 record. I'm looking at BoxRec and thinking, oh, this guy, I mean, he'll hang tough for as long as he can, but he can't win. I didn't know he was trained by Joel Diaz and has been working with Diaz for a year. Man, he came ready. And, you know, I thought it was a one-sided fight in terms of rounds, but Melian was in every round. He just hung tough and punched back, even though he'd be stunned and on his heels or up against the ropes, he would always fire back. Just his courage and his willpower made it an entertaining fight.
That show had a lot of good
That
fights,
was a huge
right?
upset, though.
That was in Indio, right? That was a Golden
that
Boy
was in
show.
Indio,
The
yeah.
main event was a bigger upset.
Yes. Yeah. It shouldn't have been, though.
No.
And I said that at the start of the broadcast and in the middle of the show. It's like I didn't say, "Hey, go call your bookie," you know. But I mean, honestly, if I wasn't calling that show and I was somebody who would wager, like the value of that, you'd have to put like at least a C note on Toriano Johnson.
No, it was 25-1. JP.
That's great. Those
JP
were
called that one.
insane
Yeah, he
odds.
liked
Yeah,
Toriano, right?
Lycos.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knew what was up with that.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, I looked at that as an even money fight, and I really felt that Quigley needed to box the best, most disciplined stick and move performance of his pro career, and he didn't do that, which made for an interesting fight for 4 rounds. But then after that, what a beating!
One fight we didn't talk about was the main event on Friday night on the ESPN Plus broadcast was Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah.
So someone asked, "What's your thoughts on his performance?" Because I think that's
It wasn't a
he
great
went
performance.
went the distance with.
I thought it was really good for him. I thought it was good in 2 ways. Number one, before you challenge for your first world title, you should go the distance. You should have a distance fight, or at the very least, a gut check. I don't think the Japanese dude gave him a gut check, but I do think he checked his ego.
He was awkward. He was a tall guy,
He was awkward, but he was tough.
And he was confident. And he was
confident.
He was good. He was
Yeah,
really good.
he was big. He was tall,
and
he
he wasn't
had a lot of
intimidated. Yeah.
as we expect Japanese fighters when they travel to the United States. So I think it was good for Lopez because it just kind of grounds him a little bit more. I think it was a bit of a humbling experience, even though maybe he and his dad won't admit that. but I think it was, and I think it was good for him to go 12 rounds. If there was anything that they didn't do right with this camp, I think they'll make some adjustments going into the Comey fight.
But he went a strong 12.
Yes.
I mean, he came out of the end, and he was still.
He did it. So but now he knows.
I was very impressed with him.
I was too. I was impressed. I wasn't impressed with his game, so to speak. I thought
he's got too much crap going on.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought he could have been a little more focused and could have figured out. Forgetting the Japanese fighter tonight.
The Japanese guy was really good.
Yeah.
And before the fight
but he's
started,
not. But that dude's not like a real contender.
A lot of people were complaining about the scorecards, that it was a competitive fight, that Teofimo won, but that the cards were pretty wide. I mean, I saw that on social media. A lot of people complaining that. One fight someone would like to see here is Inoue versus Neri. That would be a great fight.
Yeah,
at 1-8. That would be at 118.
At 118. But don't forget the South African is out there.
Yeah.
Zolani.
And then someone was asking, do you have any?
118 bantamweight. I think it's the deepest division.
That's solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of our Superfly veterans 118.
And they might go up.
Yeah.
Ioka could go up.
Ioka had a great win. Yeah. WBO champion.
The Ring Magazine champion Juan Francisco Estrada could go up.
Estrada's a great fighter.
Maybe Sorungasai needs to go up. I don't think
he seems big for 115, so we'll see if he keeps making that.
Yeah, and he's been doing it for a long time.
And then there's someone asking about what's happening with Inoue and Donaire. There's no venue or date announced for that fight yet.
I keep reading these stories about Donaire considering pulling out of the finals because he and Richard Schaefer want the WBSS to find a date, find a fight date, and a proper site. So I don't know. That would be really sad if that fight fell out, or Inoue had to fight a substitute or something.
Is Richard Schaefer his?
We have Klaus here visiting from Germany. He did a lot of the Klitschko fights with us in Germany. Yeah, he was helping with the promotions.
Klitschko fights?
You have to have with the German commission, you have to have a technical advisor, like you said, that was licensed, and Klaus would help us with a lot of that from Germany.
So when you say technical advisor, do you mean with the production?
Yeah, like with the ring setup and like more logistics. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the way they do the shows in Germany,
we had the big soccer stadium shows.
Yeah. Well, there were stadium fights, but even the arena fights, the production value, the in-arena production value was very high. They'd have live music and the pyrotechnics and lights and
a lot of show.
Yeah.
They were asking us to talk about Sweet Pea, but we already mentioned that unfortunate.
Rest in peace to one of the greatest southpaws of all time, a 1984 Olympian, and a guy who was just fearless. He didn't make a big deal out of it. He's like, I want to fight the best, and that's the end of it. He didn't make a big deal out of it. Didn't get too caught up with the business side of the sport. Was willing to make concessions just to prove that he was the best, and he did it.
There's one viewer that typed in that he's arguing with another one that says different. Sweet Pea was different from Floyd, and he never ducked anyone. He fought.
He never
ducked
ducked anybody, and he could blend his defense with his offense.
Who was his
and he could stay in the pocket. And
Floyd
could stay. Floyd stays in the pocket, but Floyd is that 1-2, just 1-2s, Whitaker could be in the pocket. I actually appreciated Whitaker more as an older welterweight than I did in his prime lightweight. Because as an in prime lightweight, it was a lot of the southpaw jab and moving around. And he did a lot in there. He could still make for good fights, but I appreciate him more when he got heavier and fought bigger guys. I was talking about Pacquiao, how awesome it was that Pacquiao went from Barrera to Marquez.
Right.
Well, Whitaker went from Buddy McGirt to Julio Cesar Chavez.
Right. Yeah, those are Hall of Fame fighters.
That's a boss move. That's like, I respect him. If he had lost those fights, I would still would have respected him. So he goes from Buddy McGirt to Chavez, but he's right in there with those dudes. And the big guy, who's the guy, the Julio Cesar Vasquez, the junior middleweight champ, who was a beast. He's in there, and he's moving and he's ducking under, but he's going two hands to the body, and he's landing combinations. So I appreciate he's good at that, and actually Whitaker was great at that. And James Toney was great at that.
James was too.
He's up there, and James would shoulder roll, but he wouldn't just come back with the counter right. I'm talking James Toney is prime, like super middleweight. There was uppercuts and body shots and 3, 4, 5 punch combinations.
Sweet Pea was one of those defensive fighters that also was entertaining offensively, you know, when he would land his punches. So
yeah, he had a flair for showmanship, definitely. He had fun in there.
Who trained that dude?
Georgie Benton.
And
George Benton, a former middleweight contender.
And Lou Duva.
And Lou Duva was in there as well. And George Benton had some understudies, including Tommy Brooks and Ronnie Shields. So they were learning under this great trainer, and they worked with Mayweather. They were around Mayweather, you know, in the gyms as well. So that was the Whitaker minute. Do we have time to do this?
I have a couple questions.
Couple of questions, Dave.
He doesn't have a lot. We're going to keep this short. It's hard to.
But, we're cutting this all down because
less is more.
Less is more, and
leave
more
them wanting more.
is not too great. So I'll give you this one.
Oh, you know, before you ask the question, Dave, you know who else will be at our Hollywood Fight Nights? Who stole the show at the undercard for the Triple G? Is Brian Ceballos going to be there? Yeah, so he'll be in town.
Yeah,
he'll be in
you
LA.
want to meet Brian because he's a great guy.
So he'll be there. He can sign autographs and take photos with the fans. Cecilia will be there. Cecilia
Ask him
Brecos.
what's next. What's he got cooking?
Yeah.
Okay, so
All right, Dave.
I'm looking forward to watching him fight again.
So I'm going to give you this one.
Okay.
I don't have a jump rope. I'll have to go like this.
Oh wait.
Look.
Oh, we had it.
Look at all the tricks.
I think we left it over there.
Look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, look, crossover. Crossover, everybody.
Yeah,
Someone complimented your Eloy Perez shirt, Coach.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Eloy is one of. He was incredible.
Hollywood Fight Nights, as we just talked about, it's next. It's a week from today. Next Sunday, July 28th.
Yeah.
It'll be on the
Thompson Boxing Show. I'll be doing that with.
That's
Edo
on
Duran
Friday
the
night.
26th.
That's on Friday night
Yeah, I
at
got a busy weekend.
in Ontario.
And on the 27th, on DAZN, you have a 140-pound unification bout between Jose Ramirez and Maurice Hooker.
yeah.
And Hooker, right? Someone asked
That's
about
an
that fight
interesting
also.
fight.
Yeah, that's a good fight too.
It's a toss-up, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say though, on your Thursday night fights, you had the coach.
Yeah, Jonathan Coachman. How good is he?
That guy. I mean, all those guys.
Those guys from the WWE, like Todd Grisham,
Yes.
they're so good.
I know.
They're amazing broadcasters.
Murat
They have
Gassiev.
a flair for showmanship.
And Ben
Murat was
Duran
gonna be on that
just like
fight.
them, too.
Yeah.
They're all sort of like they even look alike a little.
They kind of,
bit.
yeah.
Yes,
Big guys with a lot of energy.
Yeah, a lot. And they're good. I mean, they're
No,
good.
they are. They know
and
their
they're
stuff.
great guys. And it's not about them at all.
Right.
Yeah, Murat was going to be on that show, the Hooker
That's right.
Ramirez
Gassiev was
show.
supposed to make his heavyweight debut against Joey Dwiko.
Unfortunately, he got injured. Yeah, it was going to be his heavyweight debut, but I'm hearing that they're looking at postponing his fight until September. So it doesn't seem to be
It's not a
long injury yet.
Okay, so this is sort of this. If you get this one, Dougie, you're good.
All right, Coach, you going to try to stump him?
This was July 19th, 1972.
That's Vitaly's birthday, by the way. Vitaly Klitschko's
July 19th?
July
Happy
19th
birthday
just happened, yeah.
to The mayor of Kiev.
Yeah, Mayor
And
Kiev.
This fight was in
1972?
Ireland. Yeah, it was in Ireland, and it was a heavyweight fight.
Irish heavyweight.
Oh, okay. I think I know what this is. I think it's the guy on my shirt who's fighting.
Yeah, you're right.
Because he was a world guy.
Yeah.
He was worldly.
Yeah. Okay.
With or without the title.
He was a
went
true definition of a world champion.
Okay.
everywhere.
Didn't
Guy
just
fought
fight
in
in one
Indonesia,
city.
man.
Yeah, and
fought the Philippines,
Manila
Africa.
and Japan.
Yeah.
TKO in 11.
Okay.
He probably never trained at one round for this fight.
No. Yeah. It
He
was
just
Al
did it.
Blue Lewis.
So you got it.
What's Al's what's his complete first name?
It's not Al.
Al.
Alois.
Alvin.
Alvin.
Alvin Blue Lewis.
Blue Lewis.
So was it?
Was he undefeated?
No.
Yeah.
But what's his claim to fame?
Al Blue Lewis? He has a claim to fame?
He was an Ali sparring partner.
Oh, he was a sparring partner, and then they fought.
I guess in the 70s, being a sparring partner.
Was it
Bobby
Coach's shirt?
That was good. You got
I
Al.
got it, yeah.
Was it Coach's shirt that gave it away for Al
No,
Blue?
there's
Al
actually
Blue
a book.
Lewis.
There's actually a book about this fight that came out maybe.
So why did it
15
take place
years
in
ago.
Ireland? Doesn't sound like Al Lewis was Irish.
Yeah, well,
They might have.
money.
He
They
had
might
Irish
have.
ancestry.
They might have had a big side fee from
Cassius Clay,
from
a.k.a.
Ireland.
Muhammad Ali, had the he was the Irishman.
Do you think anyone in the world would know Al Blue Lewis?
Al Blue Lewis.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's pretty good, Doug. Doug keeps outdoing himself.
Yeah, but it's all. I mean, Ali. That's a record that I have.
Okay,
like,
so that's you got that memorized.
Yeah.
And when was that? Was 72?
1970.
Oh, so that's the same as that
Same
Ring
year.
magazine cover.
Yeah.
December 72.
And he said he's going to bring peace to the world. So
Yeah.
that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is July 15th, 2006. One of your favorite fighters, your lightweight, he won a TKO in 6 against another really good fighter, MGM Grand.
2006.
They
MGM
fought
Grand.
twice.
Was this the rematch?
But I don't know if this is the rematch or not. They fought twice.
These
And,
are lightweights.
Lightweights.
2006.
The one might have been the greatest gym fighter of all time is lightweight. I mean, just a monster in LA.
That would be Shane Mosley, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Shane Mosley.
Yeah.
Knockout in 6. It's the second fight.
But Shane Mosley
Was that
wasn't-
Vernon
Shane
Forrest?
Mosley wasn't a lightweight in 2006.
No, he wasn't a lightweight now. This might have been the super.
Okay. Okay. So this is going to be Shane Mosley knocking out Fernando Vargas. So this was at
2006. Oh,
junior
so you got it.
middleweight.
Yeah, junior middleweight.
Yeah, junior
Vargas.
middleweight.
See, I'll tell you a little story about Vargas in that fight. So first fight, Shane won by a late stoppage because Vargas had the hematoma on his face.
right?
It was
Remember
swelling.
that?
He had
Yeah.
one eye. He's still doing okay with one eye, though. You know, Vargas had head movement whenever he got hurt and was in trouble. But they had the rematch, and Vargas was going through his usual personal drama, and he went AWOL. He left camp. Said, "I'm not fighting."
During training.
Yeah, and people threatened to sue him. You know, his advisors and everybody. You know, from HBO to the venue, everyone like, "You got a contract, man. You got to, unless you're injured, you got to fight." He's like, "Well, I ain't fighting, you know." But he came back. They got him back into camp, and he came like he was gone for like a week or two, and in that time, comes back and he's fat. They had this nutritionist.
He did a James
conditioning
Toney.
coach. Yeah, he had this dude. I can't think of his name right now, but he worked with Sergio Mora. He actually got Mora down from a middleweight to a junior middleweight for that fight with Vernon Forrest that he won. But a real cool cat, and he had a rapport with Fernando, and like, let's just lose this weight. So like the rest of Fernando's camp was just to make the
Losing
contracted
weight. Wow.
junior middleweight limit of 154. Even though there wasn't a title on the line, he had to make 154 on the dot, which he did miraculously. He steps on the scale, makes
Fernando
weight,
was a big guy
and
when he gained
Fernando,
weight.
I never forget. He goes, "Ah!" He just let out this emotional scream, and I'm there with Steve Kim, and like, that was his fight right there. He's got nothing else.
He won the weight
else.
battle, but lost the.
Shane
lost
really
the fight.
could have knocked him out in any round, but Shane didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, he could have knocked him out in any round because Vargas was just there in body, not in mind or
Who was the
spirit.
ref?
Yeah.
Richard Steele,
Nah, it would have been somebody. Would have been somebody like I'm going to say
Kenny
I'm
Bayless.
going to say Kenny Bayless.
Okay, and who were the judges?
Good one.
Who were the judges?
I have no idea. I have no.
Just guess 3 judges.
Chuck
Doesn't matter.
Giampa,
We're close. But
yeah, one of those, those guys.
Jerry Roth.
Jerry Roth. Jerry Roth.
Dave Moretti.
Dave Moretti.
And the infamous.
Albie Shirley. 'Cause he's infamous.
No, it would be Adelaide Bird.
Oh, Adelaide Bird. Good thing it was a knockout. Yeah. Adelaide Bird had Vargas up at the time of the
She's been around
stoppage.
a long time.
She has. She's been around a minute.
She's done a lot of fights. Yeah.
Okay, so where was the article about the birds?
Oh, there was an article about.
There was, yeah.
About that they're still hanging around.
Yeah.
Well, they
Robert-
both worked last night's show.
Yeah.
But Robert Byrd he was one of the best.
He was. Yes. Yeah.
Very,
He
very
had a really
good.
prime.
Yeah, he
Yes,
did a lot
he
of
did.
coach. He did a lot of referee seminars. I remember the IBF.
Oh, he knows his
yeah.
stuff. He knows
Yeah.
when to stop a fight.
Yeah.
He used to have really good footwork.
Yeah, he was.
He got
like-
He was always
Criticized.
in good. Yeah.
He got criticized for that fight in,
Well,
in
he's
Poland
getting old.
recently.
Yeah, he couldn't hear the bell. That was in Latvia.
That was it wasn't in
Latvia.
Poland. It was Latvia. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the the head of the California Highway Patrol.
Yeah, before he moved to Vegas,
And,
right?
When Vegas was losing all their refs, they stole him from California.
It was a good acquisition by the
he's
Nevada
good,
Commission. Yeah, because he's good.
And he was.
I mean, he was actually he was better than good. He was one of the best.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, one of the fights we forgot to talk
his
about.
His wife, as a judge, that people say that that her scorecard in the first Canelo Triple G fight was corruption, but I think that was Bird being Bird. If you go and look at her track record, she has more than a few really head scratching scorecards.
We missed one fight last night, the one where Joe Goosen was mic'd up in the corner.
Yeah, the Sergey
Lipinets fight, yeah.
Knocked out a late substitute.
Was it late substitute with
John Molina?
Yeah. John
Molina
Molina got injured.
Back injuries or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
How about this knockout of the year candidate? Derek Chisora taking out Spilka.
Yeah, Artur Spilka,
Artur Spilka, yeah.
Yeah.
Scary.
You know what his nickname is, Artur Spilka?
What?
The Pin.
I don't get it. What kind of nickname is that?
There's a story behind that, but he used to be a hooligan.
Chisora's like Del Boy. What's
Yeah.
that?
I think that's an English thing coming from Del, yeah.
But Chisora remains like one of the most reliable heavyweight gatekeepers.
Yeah, he's for sure. Yeah,
Maybe
he'll beat all those B-level guys.
Maybe we can consider
or
him
C-level
to be
guys.
A fringe contender.
Yeah. Someone was asking your thoughts on Price and Allen, David Price and Allen.
David Price boxed well. Yeah, he was boxing, using his height and his reach. I thought he had a really nice jab. It was a disciplined boxing performance from the.
Someone said that Allen was injured for some reason before the fight, but took the fight anyway.
Yeah, maybe he.
I saw that.
Yeah, had gotten buzzed or something in sparring going in there. He didn't seem right. He took himself. The Bird's trying to bomb him.
Yeah,
it's
it's
good luck.
coming close.
I've been hit. They got me before.
They wrote in that Spilka means pin in Polish. So that's
his
right.
last name
The pin.
means that.
Yeah.
And I had heard that Vozdik, his last name is like nail or the
nail.
nail.